invest in businesses. If you want to start, I can start an already ready to go business. So we're gonna touch on several different topics. So are y'all ready? Give me a ready in the chat if y'all are ready to generate generational wealth. If you are ready to be the person that's going to be that legacy maker. If your kids, if your grandkids are going to have a better way than you, give me a ready in the chat. Okay. Now I have a lot to cover, so I'm going to go real fast, but give me a one in the comments if you know me. Give me a two if you're like, girl, who are you to tell me about business structure? Like, girl, who are you? Let me share my screen. So I'm going to go real quick for those of you guys who don't know me. My name is Joy. I'm your business bestie. I have been a business attorney since 2004. I'm a little old, and I've been a serial entrepreneur since 2006, building different brick and mortar businesses. Um, I started off with the Hunt Law Group, my law practice, and then I ventured off into the beauty industry, starting a hair extension company, and I started a salon franchise, Super Weave Express, Houston's home of the $50 sewing, and I grew that salon franchise to 10 different locations. And then I ventured off into the I then ventured off into the auto industry, starting a collision shop, car dealership, car rental agency, and insurance agency. Okay, so I know a lot about business, so let's talk about how we're going to protect our business. Okay, so number one, we want to make sure that we have some kind of entity, an LLC, a corporation. But having an LLC or corporation, number one, gives us asset protection. If anyone is out here doing business as a sole proprietor, as a DBA, you're exposing your personal assets. So this is you. If you have a house, you have a car, you have money in the bank, if you're out here doing business as yourself, and you're ready to get hit with a lawsuit, we can now lose our house, our car, our money in the bank. Having an LLC is going to make you look credible. It's going to reserve your business name and state that you're in. And now your business can apply for business funding, business grants. You can double your borrowing power. When you have your LLC or corporation, you then want to make sure that you get your EIN number or your tax ID. You then want to make sure that we have a business address. So no P.O. box, no residential address. You want to have a business address. If you don't have a brick and mortar location, you can rent a business address by getting what's called a virtual address. We also want to make sure that we have a business bank account, so our business funds are separate from our personal funds. We want to make sure that our LLC is active by filing what's called our LLC annual report. And then you want to also make sure you have a contract for your LLC, which is called an operating agreement. An operating agreement. So this is Eric, and Eric has two businesses. He has a real estate business where he rents out his homes, and he has a restaurant. However, Eric put both businesses in one LLC. So when you have one LLC and multiple DBAs, you are combining the risk. Someone slips and falls at his restaurant, he gets sued and he loses the lawsuit. So he loses two of his rental homes. Whenever we're doing business, you want to make sure that each business has its own LLC. So what Eric should have done, Eric should have had his restaurant in one business and his rental property business in another business. So therefore, when someone fell at the restaurant business, it wouldn't affect his real estate. So you want to make sure that all of your businesses are separate for asset protection reasons. Now, Eric lets his daughter drive his car to the mall, but the daughter crashes. She crashes by running a red light and she kills someone. They have a $3 million judgment against Eric since he owned the car. He only had $1 million insurance policy, so Eric is now on the hook for $2 million. So they done took the rest of Aaron's property, his car, and his business. We don't want that. So one way of protecting your assets is to not let people know what it is that you own. So having what's called an anonymous LLC will be an LLC in either Nevada, Delaware, New Mexico, or Wyoming. And these four states, The owner's name is not going to be on the documents that's listed on the Secretary of State's website. So, yes, you'll be on the operating agreement. Yes, you'll be on the bank account, but no one can Google or go on the Secretary of State's website to see who owns this business. When it comes to litigation, opposing counsel is going to look you up. They're going to go on your social media. They're going to hire a private investigator. Is this person worth suing? Meaning, do you have stuff in your name that I can come get that's of value? If you see here, this is what articles or organization or your LLC documents look like in Louisiana. They're going to list the owner's name and address. However, in an anonymous LLC, the owner's name is not on the paperwork. So by having an anonymous LLC, you can kind of mask or hide your ownership so people don't know what it is that you own. Another way of protecting your assets is by separating them. So if you have a business that owns assets, or if you own assets, you want to have one entity called a holding company own the assets. You want to have another entity that's doing the operations of the business. So here in real estate, I have an operating company that's doing on the lease for the public. I have a separate LLC that's owning the assets. There will be a lease agreement between these two entities. If someone were to slip and fall, the operating company will get sued, but it doesn't own any assets. So if it was to be sued, I'll lose the cash. I can just go form me a new LLC and keep it going. In business, cash flow is king. We never want to tie up the cash flow. Now, another way of structuring your business, especially if you have multiple businesses, is to have what's called a parent company. So a holding company owns assets, a parent company owns other businesses. You can have what I call the bubble where you just own all of your businesses, or you can have one entity own all of your businesses. If you are going to have this structure, I would recommend making the parent company an anonymous LLC so no one knows who owns it to kind of mask your ownership. Reasons why you would have this is number one, if you already have a business that's in a high risk industry, so you can't get maximum funding, you can have the parent company own the high risk industry and then just move the profits up via a management fee and then get funding off the low risk parent company. If you have multiple LLCs, but you don't want to take payroll and have payroll expenses on all three businesses, you can move you can move the profits up via a management fee and just get payroll off the parent company. It's very mindful to know that you have to follow all of the corporate formalities to make this structure stick. So we want to make sure that we're filing our LLC annual report to keep our LLCs active. We do not want to be commingling personal and business funds. You want to make sure that everything is followed correctly so all of this sticks. So to put everything together, this would be you. You would own your trust. The trust would own the parent company, and then the parent company would own the different businesses. And then your assets are always going to be separate from any kind of structure, and that would be owned by the holding company. So trust. Eric gets sick. He's in the hospital for 6 months. He's not able to make any income, so his kid has to move from his private school, has to go to a new school, and then Eric ends up dying, but Eric has a will. And so because Eric has a will, it takes about 6 months to a year to probate the will. His wife wasn't able to get access to his bank accounts, and they had to lose their home. There are two different types of trust. The most common trust is going to be called what's called the revocable living trust. This trust does not give you any asset protection while you are alive, but it does give you asset protection once you die because it moves your assets immediately to your heirs. Unlike a will that has to go through probate court, which will take 6 months to a year, a trust immediately gives your assets to your beneficiaries. However, you're able to put assets in the trust. When you're alive, you still have control over the assets. You can take it out the trust, you can encumber the asset, you can still touch the asset. So for this reason, a revocable trust does not give you any asset protection while you are alive. The bulletproof trust is going to be called the irrevocable living trust. When you put something in here, it's as good as gold. However, in exchange for the asset protection, you also cannot touch it. So once you put that property in, once you put that asset in, you can no longer control it. So for business owners, they don't really want to put things in an irrevocable living trust because they may need to use it to zig and zag or do something for their business. But the irrevocable trust is the bulletproof trust. So what most people do is they'll have a revocable living trust while they're alive, and then they'll have it turn into an irrevocable trust upon their death. Another great asset of an irrevocable trust is any asset that you give to your heirs or to your beneficiaries, it remains their separate property. So if you were to give your assets or your real estate portfolio over to your son and your son got married and got divorced, your son would not lose what he received from you because that would have always remained his separate property. Now, here are some estate planning basics. You want to have, of course, a trust. You want to also have a pour over will. So a trust is going to be an agreement, a piece of paper that can own assets, but you have to actually put the asset in the trust. You have to put the title of the vehicle in the trust name. You have to put the deed of the real estate in the trust name. If you were to buy something, acquire an asset, and you didn't quite have the time to put it in the trust, a pour over will says anything in my name at the time of my death immediately goes to my trust. So the pour over will is like that, just in case you forgot to do what you were supposed to do, you are still good. You also want to make sure that we have a medical and a financial power of attorney. So if I were to get sick in the hospital and I could not make any decisions, who has access over my body to say, hey, do this, don't do this, or who has control over my bank accounts? You may not want the same person having the control over both. You also want to make sure that we have what's called a bank account beneficiary, that you list someone on your bank account that upon your death, they can immediately have access to your funds. There may be some things we have to pay for, mortgage payments, car note payments. And if no one's listed as a beneficiary, then your bank account has to be probated through probate court. And then last but not least, we all need to make sure that we have some form of life insurance policy to make sure if something were to happen to us, our family is good. So those are going to be our business structure and estate planning basics. So I went over how we're going to structure our business, how we're going to protect our assets. Now we have to go acquire some assets. So I'm going to have Boom come on in and break down how we're going to acquire assets with real estate. And then later on, Ramel's going to break down how we can acquire businesses with life insurance.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. Thank you so much for the information. Everybody in the chat put thank you, Joy, for her sharing this game, sharing this information that you guys can utilize to literally change the entire game for you guys. So before we get started in my segment, I want every single person here to put thank you, Joy, in the chat. There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. When you have someone pouring into you, make sure you give them their flowers. And I want everybody to do this. I want to ask you guys one question. How many people can honestly say that you, in the last 30 days, in the last 6 months, shoot, maybe even the last year, that you had someone pour into you just like she just did with real game, real value information? Comment I do if you guys have a comment, not me, if you haven't had anybody pour into you like that with game, with information that you can actually use. Not me, not me. I do, not me, not me, not me. Exactly. That's why you need to go ahead and say thank you. That's why you guys need to stay tapped in. But want to go ahead and get with you guys in reference to real estate. So before we get into that, I want to introduce myself. My name is Derek Bourne. I'm a real estate investor based in Philadelphia. I own about $8 million worth of real estate. I have done way over $10 million in real estate transactions, from real estate wholesaling to being a real estate agent to investing, rentals, for flipping, any type of real estate that you guys can think of, from residential to commercial to small to big. I have done it. So the reason why I said I want to let you guys know I'm 100%, 1000% qualified to help you guys in reference to real estate. And the biggest thing that I love so much and that what I've been helping people a lot is getting into real estate with little to no money. And I know that's cliche. Everybody says that, but I actually want to show you some things today to how I'm able to do that. And I'm not talking about just utilizing credit cards, and I'm not just talking about just, having someone. I'm talking about real strategies that you can do, even if you don't have $1 million or even if you don't have an 800 credit score. That sounds great. Everybody put great in the chat. And the number one reason why I love real estate so much is because it's the gift that keeps on giving. You literally can make money in real estate today and you can make money next month, next year, 10 years from now, 30 years from now, all off the same property. I've been making money off of houses that I've owned for the last 5 or 6 years. I literally every single month to the date. So my oldest tenant I had for 6 years now at this point. They said the one lady she told me, she said, just let you know I'm going to die here. She's an older lady. She said, look, I'm staying in here forever. Like, you're a great landlord. This property is great. Everything is amazing. I want to say. So imagine that this tenant is continue to pay, and then now this pass over to the next generation where they're going to go ahead and collect their money, even if past her. So if that's something that you guys want to do, comment me in the chat. And like I said, the gift that keeps getting going given, you can get paid now and you can get paid later. So at this point, it's like, yo, listen, this makes sense for me. Right. But what I want to show you guys specifically, because a lot of people are like, yeah, he's buying houses, he's doing this, but I don't really 100% believe that I can go ahead and do this, or I don't really 100% believe that I can go ahead and do this whole wealth thing with a little bit of money. So just about 3 weeks at this point, it's about 3 weeks ago, I had bought my son his first property. I have other properties I'm gonna be giving to him, but this is his first property I bought. Like, this is specifically for him, and I want to show you guys how I was able to buy this property that's now, well, in a couple weeks, going to be worth $160,000. But I literally only purchased it with, as you guys can see, $8,275 out of pocket. It only cost me $8,275 out of pocket. This is including the purchase price. This is including the 60 plus $1,000 construction. This is including taxes, includes insurance. This is including fees. Everything included that I need only cost me a little over $8,000 out of pocket. And what I want you guys to do, somebody in the chat comment how. Because I know you guys are like, how the hell is able to do that? Buy a $160,000 property, but only need a little over $8,000 out of pocket to go ahead and do that. And that is by utilizing specific strategies. And me and my brother Ramel was talking about this a couple weeks ago. And I said, look, listen, I'm not against credit cards, but at this point, I know so many strategies. The hell with credit cards. And I'm gonna just be honest. There's so many other strategies and other hacks and other plays. I don't even want to use hacks. There's a lot of other things that you guys can do where you don't have to solely rely on credit cards. And real quick, comment me in the chat if you're somebody in here that's like, yo, that makes sense for me. I'm in a position where I want to utilize things outside of credit cards to do that. So one of the things that we do is we utilize specific formulas. So in those formulas, these banks, that when they see us utilizing these formulas, they're like, yo, he or she got it. He or she has it. They know the hack. They know the play. They know the formula. We want to give them more money. Everybody put more in the chat. So when they see you run these type of plays, run these type of formulas, they're like, bingo, we don't mind giving them. They know what they're doing. And then when lenders talk to me, they're like, yo, listen, he knows what he's doing. So for example, I want to show you guys for this specific house, right? I ran this form and the lender just says, from a value standpoint, this loan looks like it makes sense and is eligible for 100% funding. If you guys can see, this is September 16th. This is literally 30 days ago. The lender said, this was right before we closed on the property. He said, look, listen, this loan, this property makes sense for 100% financing, 100% funding. So when I say this has had nothing to do with credit cards, this is strictly just the lender saying this property makes so much sense that we're willing to fund this 100%. So I want to show you guys something real quick, how we actually make this work. Is we run these strategies, right? We run these strategies, which is called the 65% rule. So 65% rule. Everybody put 65 in the everybody put 65% in the chat. 1 second. There we go. So what the 65% rule basically means that we want to be within 65% of the total value of the property. So what we do is we take these three letters, which stands for which means ARV, which stands for after repair value. So once the house is fixed up, once it's beautiful, once all the new hardwood floors and once everything is HGTV ready, what is it worth? Then we take that number, we times it by 65%, and then that equals our all in. And comment new in the chat. If this is somebody first time ever even hearing lingo or things like this. And that's perfectly fine because that means you are in a space where you're actually about to grow. If someone in here is saying this stuff is new to you, that is 100% fine because I know somebody in there's like, dang, this is new. This is probably not the class for me. No, no, this is new. This is the perfect space you want to be in because now you're about to grow. So ARV stands for after repair value. After it's repaired, what is it worth? So for this example, my son's property, it's $160,000. After it's repaired, after it's fixed up, it's worth $160,000. So we times that by 65%. What I want you guys to do in the next 5 seconds, someone take out their calendar and tell me what is $160,000 times 65%. Quick, 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 quick. Wealth builders. Quick, what is that? What is that? Give me that number. Give me that number. Give me that number. Quick, quick, quick. $104,000. $104,000. Thank you so much. So what this means is that after the house is repaired and fixed up, which is 160 grand, we times it by this formula that we already talked about, and it equals 104, aka the all-in number. So what all-in stands for how much we can buy and how much we can fix. Simple. I like to go ahead and make things as simple as possible. So that means you can buy this house for 100 grand and put 4,000 into it. You can buy it for 4,000, put 100 grand into it. You can buy it for 50,000, put $54,000 worth of work into it. And really quick in the chat, somebody give me another little breakdown. How much can you buy this for? How much you can fix it up for? Whatever, however the cookie crumbles, however you break it down, as long as you don't go over the $104,000, it is a great deal. It makes sense. It is a no-brainer. It is just go ahead and do it. Don't even think twice. So now with this situation, I was able, just so you can understand, I was able to go ahead and buy this property for 36K, and we went ahead and put $64,000 into this. So 36,064 equals 100 grand. So let me know, yes or no, is $100,000 less than 104? Yes or no in the chat. Is $100,000 less than 104? Ray John, thank you. Look, listen, you putting together some formula. Sonja, thank you. There we go. There we go. There we go. Yes, 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 it is. So therefore, the lender's like, yo, this makes so much sense. We want to go ahead and give you this is the green light. We want to go ahead and give you all the money that you need, the money to buy it, the money to fix up, so you can go ahead and do this deal. So that is great. Everybody put great in the chat. And typically lenders will give you 100% or 90% of everything you need when you come across deals like this. So as long as you follow this formula, you are good. Everybody put next in the chat if you guys are ready for the next step. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Perfect. So now what happens is we fix the property up, and we remind you, when you guys do this, this is a smaller bank. This isn't Bank of America. These aren't these big banks. These are small local banks that allow funding like this, which I'll show you guys how you guys can find these local banks. But these are small local banks that give you funding and give you access to things like this. But we're talking about wealth. You can't create wealth when you sell. Everybody understand it. You cannot create wealth when you sell. So in order to go ahead and create wealth, we have to keep the property and we have to turn it into a rental property. So in order to keep this property, we have to go ahead and go work with a bigger bank that gives us a 30-year loan. Everybody put 30 in the chat. So now that the property is worth $160,000, right? The bank pretty much gave us $104,000 to go ahead and do this. In this example, the exact number they gave me is 100 grand. They gave me $100,000 to go and buy and fix it up. Now the house is worth 160,000. So pretty much we have $60,000 in equity right out the gate. But what we need to do is we need to go to the big bank to take over the small bank. Everybody put a big bank in the check. So a big bank is like a credit union. A big bank is like Bank of America. Big bank is like Citizens Bank. Big bank are all these banks that do the DSCR loans, right? So what they're going to do is they're going to say, hey, look, we'll give you 75% of whatever the house is worth. Really quick in the chat, how much is the house worth? I got about 6 minutes. How much is the house worth again? No, that's 104 is what we needed, but the house is worth $160,000. So what we go ahead and do is, right, and I'll move this up. So what we go ahead and do is We take the 75% and we times about 160,000. Somebody in the chat, what is that? No, you good. You good. You good. Somebody, what is 75% of 160 grand? Let's move quick. Let's move quick. And I like y'all. Y'all right with me with the math. $120,000. So to make this as simple as possible, we owe 100 grand. Our house is worth 160, so we have $60,000 in gap. But now the big bank is going to say, look, listen, we'll give you a 30-year mortgage. That way you have this house for the long term, and we'll give you $120,000 of loan towards this house. So now the big bank is going to pay off the little bank, and they're going to give them 100,000 of our 120. But what's the difference between 120,000 and 100 grand? Somebody comment in the chat. What is that difference? Bingo. I love it. $20,000. So the thing about this $20,000 is now it goes from the bank, it goes into our personal bank account. And the best part about this money is it is tax free. Everybody put tax free in the chat. Because it is a loan, you do not pay taxes on lended money. So now, big bank paid off little bank. And then we had some difference of $20,000 that goes into us. And full disclosure, you're going to have to pay about $2,000 or $3,000 in fees. So technically speaking, we're going to get about $17,000 for the technical people. And we're going to get about $17,000 sent to our bank account, or a child's bank account. For my example, my son's bank account. Now that is tax free, that he can utilize long term for other moves. For me, I'm putting inside his life insurance policy that my brother's going to speak to you guys about and talk to you guys about. Drop a fire emoji in chat if that's game for you guys. So now the next piece about this is, even though we have a property, then we have a loan on the house, we have to pay something called a mortgage every single month. I already did the math for you guys. The mortgage on this house is going to be about $800 a month. The mortgage on this house is going to be $800 a month. And for you guys that doesn't know, you can go to this website called Zillow Mortgage Calculator. You type in the numbers that we just did, and it will literally spit out the estimated monthly mortgage payment. So for this type of loan, the $120,000, the loan amount is going to be the monthly payment is going to be around $800. So now what we need to do is we need to find a tenant. We need to go ahead and put a tenant in this property that's going to pay us more than the $800. Comment, follow in the chat if you guys are following me. So what we do to make it simple, we go to this website right here, and this is the mortgage calculator. As you guys can see, $803. We go to this website called rentometer.com. When we go to rentometer.com, and I want to make sure I'm giving you an actual website that you can use. This is around the area that my property is at. It's a 3-bed, 1.5 bath, and it's a house. So on Rentometer, you type in the address, the number of beds, number of baths, and if it's a house or apartment, and all we have to do is hit check rents. Immediately, it tells us that the median price for rent around this area is $1,750 a month based on a 3-bed, 1.5 bath. So now we take $1,750 that we coming in and rent, and then the $800 that's going out in the mortgage note. Somebody really quickly, and this is the last piece, and I want to pass it over. How much money do we have left over after everything? Yes, yes. You pay the mortgage and everything left over is profit. It is $950 left over every single month after everything is paid within this note that goes back into that bank account that you have again. So now you're up $18,000 plus the $950 is coming in this month, next month, the month after that, the month after that. And you can even say, look, I don't want to put it in the bank. I want to go ahead and put it into life insurance to go ahead and take it to that next level, which my brother Ramel is going to talk about. So real quick, if this was some game for you guys, drop a fire emoji in the chat. And the biggest thing is I want to show you guys that you can do this specifically with what you have right now. I just showed you guys that I did all of this with only a little over $8,000 out of pocket. If you're someone right now that has $10,000, whether it's in your checking account, savings account, credit card, life insurance, retirement account, 401k, comment me in the chat. Again, if you're someone that has $10,000 available in some form or fashion, it could be in the shoebox in your room, you have it available, comment me in the chat. There's a lot of people commenting me in the chat. You might as well go ahead and build wealth. At this point, you might as well. And then here's the other thing that has nothing to do with money, but builds what here we go. That has nothing to do with money, but builds a whole different type of value. Let me show you guys something. Now your child can be a part of things that's actually going to give them not only generational wealth, but generational knowledge. You see that now he's being a part of a full-blown project, seeing everything that's going on. But now this is more than just he's coming to work with dad. He's coming to work with dad to build his house. That's what this whole thing is about. And that's what I'm specifically doing this for. So now my child is going to have generational wealth, but also generational knowledge. So I want to pass it to my brother, Ramel. If you guys enjoyed this, drop a fire emoji in the chat. Matter of fact, forget the fire emoji. If you guys enjoyed this, drop wealth in the chat because that is exactly what path you guys are on right now. No problem. Awesome. Awesome. Amazing. 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 Amazing.
Man. I need y'all to drop wealth. Keep the wealth going, bro. I'm proud of you, and I'm really just I get excited every time I hear you share this because you gave them so much game. But the biggest piece that I heard from you is that you were able to leverage the information and strategy that you're teaching everybody to go and buy houses for your son. That's a different conversation. Somebody type me in the chat if you want to be in position to pass down assets to your son, to your daughter, or if your parent would have left you an asset. Like either way, these are the principles that we need to master, understand. And we're not somebody that's just talking about it. This is living proof. So I'm proud of you, bro. Everybody show Boone some love. I'm about to give y'all a little bit more. Can I give y'all a little bit more?
He about to take it to a whole nother level. He about to take it to a whole. He about to turn 950 into 950,000.
That's what we do. That's what we do, bro. So look, if I could give y'all a little bit more, I want you to just type more in the chat. Just a little bit. I just want to take it up a little bit just to really show you the power of having financial literacy and true financial literacy, right? So what I want to show y'all really, really quick before we get started. See, one of the things that we do, and I want to make this clear, wealthy people don't spend money. Wealthy people move money. So I want you to type move money in the chat. Wealthy people don't spend money. Wealthy people move money. What does that mean, Mogul? That means that wealthy people are able to put their money in the right vehicles that helps them to be able to maintain the money that they make. Because the worst thing that can happen is if you make a lot of money, but then you lose it because you don't have the right vehicles to keep it growing while you're sleeping. Does that make sense? So let me just show y'all something really, really quick. This is what we do. See, we leverage insurance, right? And multiple vehicles, but just one of the vehicles that I'm going to share with y'all today is insurance. So what I want y'all to look at really quick, right? This is just one of my policies. I got multiple. You see here, it says the specified amount, that's $1.5 million, right? But I want you to look at this as well, the cash value of 318,000. See, this 1.5 million is what is called death benefit. See, you see the death benefit option, which means when I am no longer here, this 1.5 million is going to go to my family. Somebody type me in the chat if you want to pass down wealth when you are no longer here, because we know we're not getting out of here alive. But a lot of times we passing down debt, we passing down trauma, we doing GoFundMe's, we doing fish fries. We don't need to do that anymore. That stops here. What if you was in position to be able to pass down this type of money to your child? How would you feel? Let me know in the chat. How would you feel if you was in a position to pass down this type of money? But life insurance is life insurance for a reason. It's not only for when you die. Life insurance is for the living. This is what we don't understand. That's the power of what we're going to share with you. What I want you to look at is this cash value, $318,000. So although the 1.5 million is when I'm no longer here, this 318,000 is what I'm able to leverage while I'm living. See, this is money that has been able to grow compoundedly since I've had this policy. So we put money into this policy, the money actually grows, and then I go and borrow against this to go invest and buy businesses. Does that make sense? Let me know in the chat, yes or no. What I do is I go and borrow this money and I take it and I go buy a business that's bringing me money. And guess what? This money is still growing compounded interest as if I never touched it because it's in a vehicle that's secured. So just to make this very, very clear as I'm bringing it all together, what we do, the strategy is, yes, that's an IUL. What we do is we open up insurance policies. We're going to fund these insurance policies, and then we're going to leverage it to go out there and invest and have our money work for us multiple times. That is the entire blueprint. And I know I'm on here giving y'all a lot of game really, really quick, but let me ask this question. Put a 1 in the chat if you are familiar with me. Put a 2 in the chat if you're not familiar with me. You like, I don't know who this guy is, but he's on here kind of dropping some fire. Just let me know because I want to share a little bit about who I am just so that I don't, talk over, too many people's heads. So we got some 1s and we got some 2s. All right, so it's a mixed group. So with that being said, really quick, I'm not going to take up too much time. I just want to make sure you understand why I'm qualified to share with you and why I'm so passionate about this information, because I've been able to go out there and build a $10 million self-storage business, $20 million in family wealth, but it wasn't always that way. It's not about how you start, it's about how you finish. Somebody type finish in the chat. It's not about how you start, it's about how you finish. And I've been able to, acquire multiple 6 and 7 figure businesses, but I am most known as the self-storage king because this is the primary business that I buy, which is a commercial real estate backed business, y'all. And we're going to talk about it a little more in detail. But the purpose of this class is not specifically the self-storage, but the vehicle that we use to buy self-storage. And the vehicle that we use is going to be insurance, y'all. And I've been able to build my portfolio. I'm not somebody that just came outside 2 weeks ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago. I've been doing this for 12 years, asset after asset, cash flow after cash flow. And I'm showing you this receipts because I want you to be inspired. Somebody type inspire in the chat. I want you to see yourself in me and be like, look, if he can do it, I know you can do it. Somebody that lost his mom when he was 12 years old to cancer. I lost my grandmom that raised me when I was 14 to cancer. I grew up in a 3-bedroom apartment with 13 relatives. Poverty, welfare, food stamps, free lunch, you name it. So if I can do it, I know you can do it. Sometimes we need to see somebody that has done it to believe that it's possible for you. So when you see Joy and you see Boom, I want you to see yourself. I've been able to build this brand over 500,000 subscribers across my online platforms. I was able to retire my wife, fire my boss, being able to take private planes. Right here, I purchased my dream car, $300,000 Lamborghini. And that's cute. It's cool, y'all. But I want y'all to look past the Lamborghini because it's not even about that. It's about the storage facility that's behind me. See, I purchased this storage facility with no money out of my pocket creatively, and I'm going to teach you how. But more importantly, the storage facility pays for my Lamborghini. And I'm paying myself back with interest because I was able to buy my vehicle outright, leveraging my insurance, y'all. See, I like what you said, Troy's, because without a test, you don't have a testimony. And I'm just here sharing my testimony because it's time for me to send the elevator back down and give you a hand up. And when I say hand up, it's not a handout. We're giving you a hand up. And if you're ready for that hand up, I want you to type ready in the chat. Again, I'm only sharing this because I'm about to break down some concepts that it may go against everything you've been told about building wealth. I'm about to break down some concepts that truly may have you scratching your head like, nah, I don't think that makes sense. I'm going to challenge everything that you've been told about building wealth, y'all. So I just want to make it very clear that I am a product of the things that I'm teaching you. Nothing is theory. This is all real life things that we've been able to do. So as I jump back into it, right, let's talk about the different vehicles when it comes to insurance. So this is our wealthy framework. We have different types of insurance policies. The very most affordable and entry-level policy is going to be term insurance. Now, term insurance does not give you cash value, what I just showed you earlier. Term insurance is only for when you die. It's only for a term. So typically you get term insurance anywhere from 10 to 30 years. But here's the game that I want you to think about. It's only $100 a month for $1 million policy, y'all. So think about it. Is your child important enough to you Does your child mean enough to you to where you're able to carve out $100 a month to be able to pass down $1 million to them when you're no longer here? Let me know in the chat. Do you care that much about your child or your future child or your family overall? Because it doesn't have to just be a child. It could be anybody that's important to you. It could be your husband. It could be your wife. It could be your boo thing. Whoever's important enough to you, is it important enough to where you are willing to carve out $100 a month to go get $1 million policy? Not only that, who's been a victim of some life-altering event, whether you've been diagnosed with lupus, you've been diagnosed with cancer, maybe you got into a car accident, like maybe you just not able to work as you once did. Who knows somebody that has been impacted by a sudden tragedy? See, Sandra said her. Well, you can also utilize your insurance to be able to pay you living benefits in the event that you do not have the same capacity to go out there and work. What happens to you if you don't have insurance and then you just are not able to perform anymore because it's just health and life things happen? Now you're struggling. We all know somebody that's been through this. So that's why it's important for us to have insurance, in term in particular, for multiple reasons, the most affordable. Now, here's the third reason why we go and get term insurance. See, Boone showed you how to go out there and buy properties, right? Well, when we take on debt, let's say you get a $200,000 mortgage. You can go get life insurance to match your $2,000 in mortgage. I mean, $200,000 mortgage. And in the event that you die, the insurance is going to pay off the asset free and clear. So now your children are going to get free and clear properties with no debt. Somebody type me in the chat if you would actually like to do that for your family, or if you wish somebody set you up this way. This is the power of these wealth principles. So now we're going to take it up a notch, because Boone talked to you about buying properties. So let's say you go and you buy your first property and you're making $1,000 a month, $1,500 a month. Now you can invest to get a more, a higher or more expensive policy is what I would say. It costs a little bit more, which is whole life and IUL. Now your whole life comes with cash value. So that cash value is what I shared with you, right? Let me just go back and make sure we all on the same page. I shared the cash value with you, right? Let's go back. See, cash value is what we see right here, $318,000. That's what we utilize while we are living. All right. So with the IUL and with the whole life, it gives you cash value, like I said, and it's going to cost you about $500 for $1 million. So let me know in the chat, are you willing to invest $500 a month to get $1 million plus money that you can leverage and borrow and invest while you're living? Does that make sense? This is what the wealthy people do. We don't got to reinvent the wheel. This is also permanent. So it is part of your insurance for the duration of your life. And you are guaranteed. Somebody type never go broke in the chat. Somebody type never go broke in the chat. See, the difference between whole life and insurance and other vehicles, you would never go broke because there's a floor. So if you put money into your policy and let's say the stock market crashes, your money is still secure because it is backed by your insurance. This is what the banks do. They put your hard-earned money into insurance, and that's how they are secure. So you never lose money, and it's tax-free. It's so many benefits. Now I'm gonna talk. Look, some of y'all might not like me after this. I'm gonna be honest with y'all, but I'm gonna ask you a serious question. Put a 1 in the chat if you got a 401k. Let's have the real conversation. Put a 1 in the chat if you have a 401k. Put a 2 in the chat if you don't. For those of you that's working a job, yeah, you got a 401k. Yup. Those of you that's working a job, most of you have a 401k. And I'm gonna tell you the truth. This is the worst place you should have your money. It's a financial jail. It's a trap. I told you, I'm going to challenge everything that you've been told about building wealth. See, your 401k is controlled by your employer in Wall Street. You have no control. You got to wait. There you go. See, look, they're going to show you with T. There we talk. Exactly. You got to wait till you're 59 and a half to get your money. What part of the game is that? You mean to tell me if I work at this job and I invest in my 401k for 20 years, I got to wait time 59 and a half to get it out? And then when I am 59 and a half, they're going to tax me on the growth. So let's put this in perspective. Get y'all calculators, right? If you invest into your 401k for 20 years straight as you working at this job, and let's say you get to a point where you got 200,000 in your 401k, you're excited, you think everything is all good. Well, now that it's time for you to pull it out, they're gonna tax you. And let's just say you're being taxed at 25%, which is super low. That's what's 20. Somebody let me know in the chat. What my mathematicians at? What's 25% of 200,000? What's 25% of 200,000? Thank you, MJ. $50,000. So that means 50,000 is gone off out the gate. How do you feel the fact that you worked 20 years and 50,000 out the gate is gone? Just let me know. I know I'm pissed. I'm not happy about it. Then you got to talk about inflation. You got to talk about the cost of living. So over 20 years, that same 150,000 is not the same as it once was 20 years ago. So now you really got $100,000. So you lose 100, you got 100 to walk away with. So if you really look at the numbers, you damn near work for free for 10, 15 years. Does that make sense? I don't know what part of the game is that. Who wants to work for free for 10 years? So let me ask you this question. Imagine if you, instead of you keep putting your money in a 401k, you put your money into an insurance policy. And then you borrowed against your insurance policy and you invest it into a business. Let's break this down, y'all. Are y'all with me? Let me know if y'all with me, right? So you could go on websites like bizbuysell.com. This is a website, business brokerage website, and we could search for businesses. This is what we do all day long. We buy already producing income-driven businesses. So somebody dropped their state in the chat so I can show y'all how this works in real time. Somebody dropped their state in the chat. New Jersey. All right, cool. So let's do New Jersey. Let's see what's out here in New Jersey. So I could go in New Jersey and I could pick what type of businesses I want to buy, right? And look, they got different businesses. They got this custom signage business that's bringing in $50,000 a year, right? They have what else? Let me just see what looks attractive in here. Jewelry businesses. They got transportation businesses. It's so many businesses. I specifically focus on self-storage, but I got mentees that purchase dry cleaners, that purchase laundromats, right? That purchase multiple different types of businesses. Let's see. They got a marketing business. No, that's too. Let me try to find something that's a little less. Let's see here. Let's see. All right, New Jersey. I don't see no self-storage. So let me just back out. Let me find self-storage right here. Let me look for self-storage or any established businesses. Let's just search this. All right, cool. There we go. All right, so let's say, oh man, look at this gas station. 45,000 for a gas station. This is crazy, right? You'll be surprised how much money you can make by buying businesses that are already producing income. Look at this established UPS store that you could pay 775,000. Now here I want you to pick this up. I'm gonna click on this, right? This UPS store is bringing in $710,000 a year, and they are asking $775,000 for it. You're gonna go and apply for what is called the SBA 7A loan. This is a small business loan where you buy small businesses, right? And the thing about this 7A loan, right? It says it here is a government-backed loan for U.S. small business administrators for private lending for small business acquisitions. All right. So that's the importance. Now, what I like about this is that you only got to come to the table with 10% down. So let's do some math with my mathematicians. If I'm going to buy this business for $775,000 and I only got to come to the table with 10% down, what's that number? What's that number? Thank you, MJ. 77,000. So let's bring it full circle. Instead of me having 77,000 sit in my 401k for 20 years, if you took that same 77,000 and bought a business And let's say that business is bringing in is 720,000, 710,000, times that by 20. How much money would you really make over a 20-year span versus you leaving your money in a 401k? What part of the game is that? That's why they want to control your money, because they don't want you to be in control. Because what you can do is take that money out, buy a business, and over 20 years, you will make 100 times what you would have made if you left it in a 401k. Does this make sense? Just let me know in the chat. It does not make sense. Now, some of you probably thinking, and put a 1 in the chat if you thinking, why would somebody sell me a business that's making money? Like it's making a $700,000 a year, 75,000 down. It sounds too good to be true. Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, I'm gonna tell you why. There's a term called baby boomers. Baby boomers have been born between the 1940 and 1960. And these individuals own these type of businesses, but they are looking to retire. Nobody's getting out of here alive, and nobody's beating Father Time. And there are 10,000 baby boomers retiring every single day. So you do the math. If there's 10,000 baby boomers retiring every single day, and if these baby boomers have businesses that they need to sell because they're looking to retire, you have the opportunity to purchase. And it doesn't have to be retirees. It could be people that's going through a divorce, that they need to liquidate their business and sell. There may be people that got health issues, but it doesn't mean the business is not profitable. It just means that there's life circumstances that is creating motivation for them to sell. Does all of this make sense? I just want to make sure we good. We're on the same page. Now, Joy gave you the blueprint how to properly structure your business, how to properly do estate planning. We got protection now. That's important. Boone showed you how to buy properties creatively with literally no money out of your pocket and start building cash flow and build net worth, right? Somebody type net worth in the chat. And then I'm showing you how to leverage what you do have, because you don't need 300,000, 500,000, millions of dollars. You can start with what you have and just repurpose it and put it in the right vehicle. So if you have your money in a bank account, let's put it in insurance. If you have your money in 401k, let's put it in insurance. If you got your money sitting in your house, let's go put it in insurance. And then from insurance, we're going to invest and diversify into businesses that generate us cash flow. If you feel like this was valuable and you actually want more, I want you to type more in the chat. If you feel like this was valuable and you like, yo, look, Boom, Joy, Mogul, y'all gave us some valuable information, but to be honest, I need more. Boone, I need you to break it down a little further. I need you to go in full detail, Boone, and show us exactly how I utilize the hard money lender and like go in detail with being able to underwrite the deal. I need you to break it down further. Type more. If you like Joy, I like how you broke down the whole bulletproof structure, and I don't want to be like Eric. I need more. They said they needed more. So I want to bring Boone back up. I want to bring Joy back up. And look, I want to ask one more question. Do we have your permission to share an opportunity with you to be able to get more from us? If I don't got your permission, I'm just going to shut down the Zoom and tell Joy and tell Boone it's a wrap. They're not ready. Do I have your permission to share an opportunity with you that you could actually work directly with us a little bit more, get some more support, a little more intimate? Let's break this down further. They say yes. So with that being said, if we have your permission, I'm going to share a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity with y'all. So I hope y'all ready for this. I hope y'all super ready. Myself, Joy, and Boone, we are having an accelerated mentorship week. For a full week, we're going to be going in full detail in insurance, estate planning. We got grants. We have funding. We have investing. Every single thing that you need to know to build wealth for you and your family. And we want to give you the opportunity to join us for our accelerated mentorship week. If you want to be a part of that, type me in the chat. If you want to be a part of that, type me in the chat. I just got to make sure we here. So this is the crazy part, yo. This is like, and I know like we were just like, this is unbelievable. This accelerated mentorship week is an investment of only $397, y'all.
Mm.
Somebody type only $397 in the chat. And we're going to do something special. So for the next 10 minutes, because we're about to drop this link. So if you got to get your card, if you got to transfer from your savings to your checking, if your money been like slowly fading away in the stock market, do what you got to do. Go get that money, right? Because we're about to drop a link. But we're going to give you a code. And the code is going to be legacy, where you're going to get $100 off. So
Mm.
tonight is going to be $297 instead of $397 to have a full week with us, a full accelerated mentorship week. Now, the dates for this mentorship week is going to start November 9th. November 9th to the 14th, we're going to have this full accelerated mentorship week. So if you're ready for us to drop that link and you want to be a part of this, just type drop the link in the chat. Type drop the link in the chat.
But you know we gotta add some more stuff to it.
Oh, what
You know
you
we
got?
gotta add some more
What you
stuff
got,
to
bro?
it.
What you got?
So look, I know he mentioned that we got this full week where you get to work side by side with us and we can fully really help you guys out. And I know you heard him mention that he said it starts November 9th. But how many people in here is like, I need some financial assistance starting this week? Comment me in the chat if that's you. I need some financial assistance starting this week. Comment me in the chat. So what we decided to do to add a part of this for no additional cost.
Mm.
Literally, this is thousands of dollars of real value that you guys are getting at no additional cost. Every single Friday up until November 9th, you will be getting your own financial advisor. Comment amazing. That's amazing. That's amazing, you guys. If
Oh,
you guys are thinking like a financial advisor, what is the someone that can advise you that is licensed that can advise you on what different avenues you could put your money in. I'm
mm.
talking about this is stuff that the wealthy people pay for. I literally just was watching this video with LeBron, and he was talking about with the different things that his financial advisors tell him to put his money to. Think about it, this is the people that the ultra wealthy are doing. This is a billionaire, and he's saying he has a financial advisor. So now you guys are going to have your own financial advisor at no additional cost. We call them Financial Fridays. You guys are going to be able to get access to that every single Friday. Not to mention, I'm going to be giving you guys all access to my $1,000 real estate fundamentals course where you can get all this information we just talked about today, but then in modules so you can listen to on your way to work. You can listen to it 3 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, while you're in the gym, or you want to sit down and really just zone in right at the laptop. So imagine, right? I know I get that. So imagine you guys go ahead and get all of this game up into the ninth to where you already got your money back before the ninth, and then you get hit with a lot more game and strategic things that we are specifically doing. Not theory, what we think is going to think may work, what we're actually doing step by step. So comment amazing if that's amazing in the chat. And before we go ahead and drop this line, I just wanted to make sure that you understood that this isn't just some class that we're doing. This isn't just some couple of days. No, this is a full experience that not honestly is not just 7 days. It's literally for the next month because you're getting game and value every single week, even during that week. So this is something different that you have never heard of, never seen before, and you are fully willing to experience. I need you to comment experience in the chat, and we are going to go ahead and drop this link. But I wanted to make sure you understood that this isn't just some regular thing. And the last thing I want to say is everybody put now in the chat. I want y'all to understand this is what you can do now. You don't have to wait till you make $100,000 to do this. You don't have to wait to you make $1 million to do this. You don't have to wait till you go ahead and you're 65 to go and do this. These are things that you can do now with what you have right now. So a lot of people said they had $10,000 in their account ready to go ahead and invest, ready to make things. You don't even need that much to make things happen. That was just an example we were talking about. For you guys that have $1,000, for you guys that have $2,000, for you guys that have 25, you can literally start building wealth, get millions of dollars worth of policies. You can buy hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of real estate with what you have now, but you have to start. Things don't change unless you make it change. So Ramel, go ahead, enjoy. I don't know if you want to add anything, but I wanted to make it clear before we go ahead and drop this link that they're getting an entire experience.
I think they ready. I think they ready. So let's get ready to drop this link. We're gonna do a countdown and let's get this thing going. So Joy, help me out with this countdown. So we're gonna do 5,
4,
4, 3,
3, 2,
2, 1.
1.
Drop the link, drop the
Drop the
link, drop
link.
the link, drop the link. The link is in the chat right there. So once you lock in your spot, type I'm in. Once you lock in your spot, and make sure you use the code word legacy so you can get $100 off. And let me show y'all this really, really quick. Because a lot of us, like, I know y'all excited and y'all ready to speed through this. But when you go on the site, right, and you're gonna go here and you're gonna go click, I'm gonna join the wealthy experience. And this is again not just another class. This is not just another challenge. No, this is where you're gonna get full strategy, financial advising. Like you are a client. But anyway, let's keep moving along. You're gonna go here and you're gonna type in the word legacy. Once you type in legacy, you're gonna apply. Boom, $100 off. You didn't save the $100. Not just that. Not just that. What you're gonna do is, let me see. Let me X this out. So what you can do is use Klarna, and you could break it down into 4 payments, interest free, $75, 4 payments. You can do Afterpay. So, and again, if it's me, I'm just swiping the card. I'm just being honest with you. I'm not, but look, some of us we may need the finance. All I want you to do is just get in the room. Don't miss this opportunity. So there we go. So I want to make that very clear. And I want to give y'all one more thing if it's cool. If it's cool, I want to give them one more. Somebody type more in the chat.
More.
Or
There we go. So actually, I'm gonna give y'all 2 things, right? So we are having a massive networking event this Saturday in Philadelphia. Boone is the king of Philly, so he got the red carpet for us, all right?
I definitely
We are
do.
having the biggest free event, networking event this Saturday, but not just any networking event. We are having a live podcast. So myself, Boone, and Joy, we are going to be having a live podcast so you get to connect with us. But this is what we're going to do. For everyone that purchased their ticket right now and comment I'm in once you purchase your spot so we can shout you out, we are going to give you a complimentary VIP ticket to meet us in person this Saturday, y'all, in
Oh my
Philadelphia.
gosh.
Amazing experience, and it's complimentary. So you still have your investment of $297, but we want to connect with you in person because it's one thing to be on the screen, it's another thing to be in real life. All right, and not just that. Because I want y'all to somebody type now in the chat.
Now.
Somebody type
Okay.
now in the chat. No opportunity wasted. We want to move now. I don't like, yeah, some of y'all probably thinking, I seen somebody in the chat say, can I pay on November 1st? No, let's move now. We're not waiting on November 1st. We don't have time to waste. Let's get to it right now. And we want to make sure we start to win right away. So what I'm gonna do for those of you that do lock in, I'm gonna give you 30 days access to my school community. 30 days where we got a bunch of different trainings in here, right? But one of the things that y'all gonna get soon as you sign up, this is crazy. Soon as you sign up, right? You're gonna get the opportunity to apply and get up to $2,500, no credit check.
Mm.
No credit check. Strictly like you now, if you got overdrafts and things like that, I can't help you if you got the overdrafts on account. But listen, no credit check up to $2,500 if you want to add an additional, line of credit, trying to build your account. And the reason why I'm sharing this because myself, Joy, and Boom, we want to make you or help you become as profitable as fast as possible. Yes, the mentorship week is November, but how would you feel if you invest 297 and then within the next 30 minutes you're able to go and be up another 1,000, 2,000? Like that's how fast we want you to be profitable. So not
Mm.
just that, you're getting all of these bonuses, and that is so much more. If you go in here, we got like so many trainings. You got self-storage trainings, grant trainings for the next 30 days. You want to learn how to pay off your debt. I would encourage you, right, to really move now, move fast. So let's just recap this really quick. And I'm gonna pass it back. And I want Joy to just give them some game. But let's recap this. Type I'm in the chat. So you're getting Boone's $1,000 real estate fundamentals course. You're gonna get a financial advisor for the next 3 or 4 weeks. Insane. And only 10% of the people out there in the world actually can afford a financial advisor.
That is a
Just
fact.
sit on that. Not just that, you're gonna get a VIP complimentary ticket to be with us in Philadelphia this Saturday. And you're gonna get 30 days access to our community immediately and be in position to get up to $2,500 no credit check for 297. If you don't
It's
sign up, I'm out of here. I'm gonna just jump off the Zoom. It's nothing else to talk about. That's it. So I'm gonna pass it back to y'all.
At some
Whatever you
point,
got to
something just
say.
makes sense. It
Yeah.
just makes sense.
That's it. All right, all right, all right. So Joy, what you
So
got?
what I was gonna say is, um, what you don't know can hurt you, right?
Mm,
So I starting over, I'm having to look at life like, in a whole different meaning because it's now just me, right? And I want to make sure that I'm doing everything right for my son since I am, his sole provider, and just understanding certain things and being able to put things in place is priceless. Knowing what it is that you have to have, and a lot of times the cost is so minimal. We think it's a big cost to have $1 million policy, but less than what it costs to have a Starbucks coffee every single day, you could have $1 million life insurance policy. I just learned today on the live there's another insurance policy that I don't have where you can put money in and you can use it for an investment. It's like having your own bank. You know what I'm saying? Like you're playing with the church's money and that's you. Like there are so many different ways to acquire wealth so that your kids, your grandkids, your niece, your nephew, they don't have to start at first base. They can already start at third base and already have a leg up from the competition. So anyone who has kids, anyone who wants to be in a better financial place than where they are, where their family is, because a lot of times, we are the generational curse breakers, we are the legacy builders, we are the first ones in our family to do new things. Getting the information is priceless. Getting a plan as to how you're going to execute on the information, and then just having the confidence to know that, you know what, I'm either set up or I'm in the process of setting up my legacy so that my whoever's coming after you has it easier than you.
yes.
Number two, a lot of us are working to acquire things that we are about to lose if something were to happen. So, understanding how do we protect our assets? What are the different vehicles that we need to be using? Um, when if we were to get sick, what kind of policy do we need to have to get paid while we're sick? All of these things is priceless information, and that's why at the end of the year, especially with this administration, what's going on right now, I want to
Mhm.
make sure that everyone is prepared. So if you were to get sick, what needs to happen? How do you protect your assets? What are some ways of buying a cash flowing business where I can have an extra $7,000, $8,000 just passive on the side? So just in case I go to work and the job is gone, forget you being fired. In these day and times, jobs are being gone, right?
Praise.
Just being able to be over prepared. So if we have to zig, if we have to zag, you already have a play or you already have knowledge on if this happens, I know where I need to go next. That is what is priceless, and that's what's going to have you rest peacefully at night knowing I'm good, my family is good, I'm protected.
Yo, what I want to ask is really quickly is what is something, comment in the chat, what is something that y'all really want? And I'm not talking about, something small. I'm talking about what is something that you really want? Is it a house? Is it more assets? Is it life insurance? Is it like what is it that y'all really want? Let's tap into the root of things. I want to take 30 seconds. Everybody in the chat, comment what exactly do you really want? Like if in the next 12 months I can accomplish this, what is that? Let's really get to the root of things.
Retire my
Build wealth,
family.
retire my family. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. Let's have a raw, transparent conversation right now. What is something that you really, really want? I really, really want $1 million. I really, really want a new property. I really, really want some investments. I really, really want a life insurance policy. I really, really want a new business, or I want a business in general, or I want this. I want job security. What is it that you really, really, really want?
Mm.
Income for two or three revenues, financial freedom and wealth, job security and family wealth, real estate, retire my family wealth, leverage my income. So a lot of you guys, not a lot of you guys, all of you guys wrote some very, very powerful things. But what I want you guys to really sit and think about this is, right? You not knowing what you need to know is costing you that.
Hmm.
Mm.
I'm gonna say this again. Every single one of you guys wrote something very powerful. But what you don't know is costing you all of that.
Mm,
So one of my mentors said, the quicker you get to the dream life, the longer you get to live it. So right now, if you guys are taking 10 years to figure out how to get job security, how much time of that job security you going to have? Bill, I don't know how old you are, but that time is going to come regardless. Vanny, I don't know how old you are, but if it takes you 10, 15 years to finally get to that real estate, how much time do you actually have to go ahead and actually enjoy that? So think about these things. The things that you don't know, this is what it's costing you. And
mm,
the first time somebody told me that, that's when I made it my decision and made it top priority. I need to learn this stuff now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need to go ahead and wait. I don't need to go ahead and try to figure this out next year. Some of y'all next year and y'all's asses out. I'm gonna figure out next year. No, we need to do this stuff now. Now stands for no opportunity wasted. So I'm gonna need to go figure out, okay, look, boom. When I first got a whiff of me being fed up at my job, I went and signed up for the next real estate class immediately.
mm,
What is something that doesn't require a degree? What is something that doesn't require a whole lot of money? What is something that don't require a whole lot of credit? Because I didn't have none of the three. And it was real estate, and I dove right deeper into that stuff. I didn't need somebody to go ahead and try to convince me. I didn't need 3, 6, 7, 8, 10, 12 years to go and figure this thing out or think about if I wanted to do this. I jumped right into it. And that was the best decision I ever made. And I know for you guys, a lot of y'all are scared. For me, I was a little nervous myself.
mm,
But the things that you are nervous about are probably the things you need to be doing.
mm.
So again, if you guys just got your spot, I need you guys to comment I'm in the chat because I personally want to congratulate you guys. I personally want to go ahead and give you your props because a lot of you guys may be scared. Look, listen, I have never invested in myself in something like this. This is new for me. This is different for me. But because it's new for you, it's different for you. This is probably where you need to be because this is where growth happens. You can't grow when you do the same thing that's the same.
Correct.
I heard Jerry Seinfeld citizens on. He said it's growth because it's new.
Mm.
So I need you guys to go ahead and do something new so you guys can grow. So again, team, if you drop the link one more time, and if you guys got your spot, comment I'm in. And congratulations for everybody that did get their spot. And I'm excited to see the things that you guys are going about to go and do, the properties that you guys want to buy. iPhone, congratulations. All the financial freedom that you guys are about to get access to, and most importantly, the things that you about to leave for generations and generations to come and allow now the next wave to go ahead and start from a different foot versus the foot you started from.
I
That's
love
good,
it.
Bill.
I love it. That was good. For sure. I want to add to that real quick, right? Because I learned something a while ago, right? I learned something a while ago, and I want y'all to pick this up. It was a quote that I learned, and it said, um, what it said, growth is optional, but time is inevitable. Right. And that was super powerful for me because what it means is that the time is going to pass us by regardless whether we like it or not. And a lot of us are putting in the chat that we want family wealth. But every single day that you let pass by, you are losing more of the opportunity to truly build family wealth, right? Because we are closer to the end than the beginning, just really what it is, right? So if the time is going to pass us by, whether you choose to grow, that's an option that you have to choose that option. See, I chose that option. Boone chose that option. Joy, we chose the option and said we're gonna grow because we know at the end of the day the time is gonna pass us by. And the reason why I'm sharing that is because some of us are probably like on the fence thinking to, okay, let me see what they got going on next year. Or let me catch it next time. Or let me do no, there is no next time. We have the audacity to think that we are gonna have another time, another opportunity. I heard this other quote and it said, tomorrow is an arrogant assumption.
Mm.
So who are we to think that we are so entitled to
Hmm.
think that we have tomorrow? Because God doesn't show us his Google Calendar. That's not how it goes. So we don't know. So we have the opportunity that's in front of us right now where you getting three of us that's coming together for only 297. We shouldn't even question it. Right? It should be something that we decide on now. I'm gonna make the investment. I'm gonna commit now. I'm gonna figure out everything else later. And you're not just learning from some random people. I want to make that clear too. So a lot of y'all that may be new to us, this is not something that we just rolled out of bed and started doing. It's things that we've actually done in our real time. So Joy has been in business for 2 decades plus, right? So you're not just learning from what she has in her mind, you're really learning from the things that she did wrong. right? The
Correct.
mistakes that she made. Because Joy can give you a strategy. Okay, this is what you need to do so you don't lose 50,000. Forget making 50,000. God damn it. Like, you don't want to lose 50,000. Like, this is what you need to understand. Boone is going to teach you from being a real estate agent to being a wholesaler to being an investor to doing multiple levels of real estate. I'm well trained in finance overall. Like, I'm somebody that I'm not just a coach, right? I've done business in real life in real time. So teaching you insurance, teaching you how to buy businesses, teaching you the systems of operations. I've been in the corporate world where I've done the whole 401k route. I saw my money disappear during the pandemic. Who saw their money disappear during the pandemic? Matter of fact, who saw their money disappear maybe about 3, 4 days ago over the
Hmm.
weekend?
Hmm.
You have to be in control. And that's all we want to do. We want to empower you to have control over your finances. And it's not as hard as we may think. It's just really foreign to us. That's really the truth. We just don't know it. But it's not as hard as we may think. We make it work. And my mentor told me this. He said, look, there's no such thing as I can't afford it. Just there's
Correct.
no such thing as that. It's only a matter of this is not important enough to me to figure it out. If my family wealth is that important to me, I'm gonna figure out how to invest $297. I'm gonna figure out who I need to actually call to be able to get this money because when it's things that's very important to us, right? Boone was talking about this the other day. Joy, we was together, and he was like, "Look, because he got the event space business, and he said he see a bunch of people that come in there and they pulling together all of this money for this Sweet 16, this baby shower, right? These different events that's one day. But if you're talking about family wealth, you have to make the decision to not prioritize today. We got to prioritize tomorrow. So
Correct.
what I want to do one time, real quick, and Joy, if you got anything else, you can add on. But I want you to comment. I'm in the chat. I want to personally congratulate you. I want to personally shout you out because no matter if it's 297 or $2,000 or 200,000, you made the investment in yourself, and that's a big deal. And this is not your last investment. This is just first of many investments that you're going to be making. So I wanted to add that value. And Joe, if you got anything else, you could add on there.
I was gonna say, especially to any parents, if anything were to happen to you, especially if you are the financial provider, right?
Mhm.
If something were to happen to you or your health, forget dying, if you were just to get sick, right? Like where is your who's gonna make up your income?
Mm,
If you were to be in the hospital for 6 months, like deathly sick, who's paying the mortgage?
mm.
And we don't think about these things because no one wants to think about worst case scenarios, but worst case scenarios happen.
Facts. That's a fact.
And I remember in 2019 I had a cancer scare, right? And so for a year I'm having all these surgeries, these tests. They don't just know what this growth is coming from. They thought I had cervical cancer, and that's when I ran to my insurance policy, like, hey, what do I have? And luckily, I'm the person that says, whatever is there, I want it all. I'm
Mhm.
that person. Give me all the extra coverage. I want it all. Just in case something happens, no one can say, if you had just checked this box.
Mhm.
And I found out that I had something called, I forgot what it's called, but if I were to be sick in the hospital, they would still pay me what I was normally making on my salary while I was sick. These are some of the things I'm looking for because my income was paying, what I'm saying, the majority of our bills. And so just knowing that if anything were to happen, you're protected. If a lawsuit happens, you're protected. Where do I go if I have an extra $100 a month? How can I make that $100 a month work for me? It doesn't have to be hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? Just start wherever you are because investing 100 here and then 100 there, and eventually that's going to grow. That's how wealth is created. A lot of times we think I got to have a $100,000 to invest. No, you can invest with whatever it is you have now. It's the mindset. It's just knowing what the vehicles are, and then once you start to see your money work for you,
Mhm.
it's game over.
Yep.
Because now, like, wait, I'm trading my time over here. Me buying this Fashion Nova, that's not making any money. I can really make money and still work my 9 to 5. Let me do that. So just getting in the room, getting the exposure, just understanding those things. This is what is priceless. And if you feel a little nervous, you feel a little scared, that is normal. If this didn't scare you, if this didn't make you nervous, it's not going to change you. Your comfort zone doesn't change you. Nothing grows in your comfort zone. Everything goes to die in your comfort zone. In
Mm,
2025, it is time for us to get to get something new. Someone type new in the comments. We need to have a new source of income. We need to have a new understanding of things. Need to have a new game plan. We cannot go into 2026 playing the game plan of 2025. We're already going to be behind the eight ball.
mm.
We need to have something new in our pocket, something new to understand, because that's what's going to make us better. And every year we're pouring into ourselves, pouring into ourselves, and pouring into ourselves. And over time, that's how change happens. That's how wealth is acquired. That's how you go from good to great. So
That's
if you're tired of being good, if you know God has given you more, if you know there is a higher level that you should be operating in, that's what you should be striving for. In November 9th, the entire week we are just pouring into you different vehicles, different things. You're gonna have a whole toolkit. You're gonna have a whole bunch of tools
Mhm.
that you can now pick from. Oh, I like that one, or I like this. I'm gonna combine these two. And then once you get your tool chest together, now it's up to you to go tell your friends, your family, what they need to be doing. And so you aren't the only person winning. You're changing your entire neighborhood. Your Thanksgiving dinner should be pouring into knowledge of what you learned that week. Letting your cousin, your sister, your auntie, your neighbors, everyone know, hey, this is something new that you need to be doing. And this way, we are not just generating wealth for yourself, but for your entire family, your entire community. So now you're really making a change for the better. Yeah, we could talk about the whole new TikTok dance and who doing what, but what if you can have your entire family be financially free?
Yes.
And financially free doesn't have to be millions. If it costs me $5,000 a month to pay all my bills, and you find a way to make $5,000 a month in passive income, so your 9 to 5 job is just extra money, you are now financially free.
Mm.
A lot of times we think it takes all of the, we count ourselves out. It doesn't take all that. It just needs for you to start. So I want to encourage someone who's on the fence, start now. Start broke, start scared, start alone, start not knowing. Just start. That is the hardest part, but that's the part that's going to not just change you, it's going to change the trajectory for your whole family. You just have to start.
Mm, mm. I love it. I love it, Joy. That's very powerful. We about to close this thing up. We said 90 minutes, so we wanted to be very, very respectful of your time. If you feel like you need about 2 more minutes to get your card and make sure you lock in so you can get access to what we have going on and all of the bonuses, because once we close this up, you will not get access to the bonuses. So if you need 2 more minutes, just type 2 minutes in the chat. And a lot of y'all, again, I just want to make it very clear they said hang on, I'm in the middle of the
We
transaction.
got you, MJ. We got you.
Working on my finance. All right, we're gonna give y'all a couple more minutes. We're gonna give y'all a couple more minutes. All right. So make sure y'all do what you gotta do. And again, you could do a payment plan. So if you need to use a firm, you need use Klarna, figure it out, make it happen, and we're gonna work with you. Carlene, congratulations. Congratulations, Carlene. Rashawn, congratulations. iPhone, congratulations. I don't know your name, but congratulations. Drop your name. So let me show you this really, really quick, right? So look here. One of our students, and I'm gonna show you a bunch of stuff, but again, sometimes seeing is believing, right? I just funded my first IUL policy with Jamel, who is our financial advisor, right? I'm never letting these banks take advantage of my hard-earned money again. So these are the things that, again, it's really not as hard as we may think, right? And if you're talking about buying businesses, if I go in here, I can show you, right? Look, we got students. This student right here, she purchased a mailbox business with
Mm.
literally $5,000 out of her pocket. $5,000. This is a grand opening, right? I couldn't make this up if I wanted to, right? So I'm showing y'all this because again, if you don't see yourself in me, Joy, or Boone, I want you to see yourself in everyday people that's buying businesses, that's funding their policies, that's doing the right things. I showed y'all earlier. This was Naya who bought her dry cleaning business using her infinite bank. We got another student right here who purchased a restaurant, bar and lounge, had her grand opening. Right? These are the things that's been happening, right? So not only do you see other people winning, as I stated, you're going to be able to go in here over these next 30 days and get access to a lot of these resources. Some of y'all that may be struggling with debt, we got a whole debt elimination program that will help you be able to, really get control of your finances. A lot of y'all may have money in your 401k, where every single Friday you need to be on these Financial Friday calls so that you can really understand your personal situation because insurance is not a one size fits all. It depends on your age, it depends on your health, it depends on how much money you have available. Now, everybody can do it, but how much you can do, it depends on your personal circumstances, right? So that's why we set up these specific Fridays so you can really get more intimate as far as knowing how could it work for you where you are. Somebody type me in the chat if you've heard all of these different things, but you feel like, well, how does this apply to me? How can I truly invest? Right? You probably looking at your finances and you worried about, man, it sound good, but I don't know if this is possible for me. It is possible. You just got to get in the environment because the truth about success is really about being around other people that's winning, that's doing these things at the highest level. And then you're gonna start to feel weird. You're gonna be like, oh, I'm the only one. Yo, Joey, I remember when I was working my 9 to 5 job at Pepsi and I was an entrepreneur part-time on the side. Now you couldn't tell me I wasn't a full-time entrepreneur. In my mind, I was the biggest entrepreneur in the world, but I still had the 9 to 5 job, right? And a lot of my counterparts that was already full-time, they're like, yo, we going to this conference in Miami. We going to this conference in Vegas. And they're like, yo, Mogul, you out? I'm like, yo, I gotta get the PTO. Let me go, let me go see what's going on. I felt crazy having to go out there and ask somebody else for permission to go in and pursue my dreams. Somebody type me in the chat if that's you. If you gotta ask somebody else for permission to take time off to be at your child's birthday party, to
Hmm.
be at this dance recital, to be at parent teachers night. Like
Hmm.
that's like make me sick to my stomach. So I made a commitment. I said, yo, look, when I have my first child, which I got 3 now, I've been busy, right? But when I have my first child, I said, look, I want to make sure I'm there for swimming lessons. So on
Hmm.
Thursdays, I go every single Thursday, 10 a.m., and I'm the only dad at swimming lessons. But it feels so good. Why? Because I'm still getting paid. I'm able to show up. I never listen. I'm from Brooklyn, y'all. I don't know how to swim. I gotta learn how to swim. But at least my son gonna know how to swim, and I'm proud of that. But that's the type of transformation that we want to give you. We want to make sure that, like, listen, you have time not only for you, but I want you to think past you. How would your child feel, or your future child, your
Hmm.
niece, your nephew, anybody that's within your lineage, anybody that's around your family? When we talk about family wealth, it starts with one decision maker,
Correct.
one difference maker, one person that's like, I'm willing to do whatever it takes for however long it takes to outlast that learning curve long enough to see an end result. Because most people, they want short-sighted success, but you got to be in that process long enough. So I was just sitting here really kind of building with y'all for like a couple minutes just to give y'all some time. But now we're gonna close this thing up. So I don't want to hear like who MJ said, there we go. He was keeping it 1,000. He said he worked on the transaction. He's finally in. So one more
Yay,
time
MJ.
before we close up, one more time. Type I'm in the chat. I don't care if you purchased 10 minutes ago, 15 minutes ago, or now. Just type I'm in so me and Joy can shout you out, congratulate you, and then we will see you part of our wealthy experience week, and we'll be good to go. So,
Miss MJ is in. Miss MJ.
oh, my bad. Okay, Miss MJ, my apology. Thank you for correcting me. Thank you for correcting me. All
Kim is
right.
in. Hey, Kim. Sella is in. Hey, Sella. Carlene is in. Hey, Carlene. I'm excited, y'all. I'm excited.
There we
I'm
go.
excited. I can't wait for you guys to get this information. It's gonna be game changing, life changing. Samsung is in. Hey Sam. Hey Samsung. But this is the difference maker. This is going to be the difference maker. The information is going to be mind blowing. I just learned something new today. I'm like, wait a minute, Ramel, I need that. Like not now, but right now.
Yeah.
So getting all your ducks in order, especially if you are a single mom, if you are a single dad, if you are the main financial provider. Like my mom will be the best caretaker for my son, but she cannot knock out these bills, right? That's just not what she's gonna be able to do. So I want to make sure that everything is just set. Like no one has to move neighborhoods, aspirations don't have to change because bad things happen to good people all the time. I, you know, I like seeing all these drawings. I'm like, well, Deuce needs to have a little business. Like, he already has his little, trash can, but I would love to buy, um, a business that's already running. Like I'm so used to building business. Like I've built and built and built and built, and I love building. It is a lot of work, but that's just what I'm good at. But buying a turnkey, like, it's already making a profit. It's already gone through the ups and downs, and it's figured out the system, and now it's just running on autopilot. Like sign me up times two.
Facts. It's a fact.
Right? But just getting access to the information, that is what's not out there. Like, yeah, you can go are you buying the right one? You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm asking. Am I buying the right one?
That part.
Because the wrong one is going to just take your money. So,
Oh, talk
we're
about
going to be sharing so many different ways of how you can generate and create generational wealth, which is important for not just you, it's important for our community. It's especially important for in the time that we are in right now.
it. Mhm.
Right now, everyone needs to have another source of income just in case. So, drop a two if you are still on that checkout page. I do not want to just, sign off and you don't get the bonuses, but we are overtime. I know Bully Boom is going to be like, wait a minute, y'all said.
That's a fact. That's a fact. So
Here-
this is what we're gonna do, Joy. We're gonna close this thing up.
Okay,
But team, can y'all comment or put the support email in the chat? So anybody that's having any issues, if striving to get in there, make it happen. We're gonna drop the support email in the chat. So team, can y'all do that really, really quick? Can y'all do that really quick? There we go. So that's the support email. If you having any issues, reach out to our support. If you need access to the bonuses, you need to learn how to navigate, whatever it is, we want to make sure your experience is the best experience, and that's why it's the wealthy experience. And Joy, I love what you said this a couple weeks ago. You were saying how I forgot exactly like verbatim, but you was like, yo, I'm not in the business of like taking people money, right? Which means you want to make sure people get what they paid for.
correct,
So, make sure you check your spam, right? Check your junk. Don't like make sure you really look through it and that you're getting the information, and then also what you're signing up for, right? So
correct.
really get the most of it. You're making the investment, and we want to make sure that you get the most of it. So that's it. With that being said, we're gonna close this thing out. Joy, we're gonna talk. I appreciate you. Congratulations to everybody else that locked in with us, and we will see you on the other side.
Bye.